What's up, gang, and welcome back to another YouTube video. It is quite literally a billion degrees in New York City this week, and not only is it a billion degrees, but it's also raining, which makes it incredibly humid. And I want you to take a guess who doesn't have a functional AC. That's correct, that would be this guy. So if I start sweating profusely in the middle of this video, you know why. It's actually been so hot that I've been having dreams of cold, rainy places, which is going to be the theme for this week's video. All I've been dreaming about is dark, foggy roads. I feel like right now, if you could teleport me anywhere in the world, it would be Scotland in a grassy field, scratch that, a foggy grassy field. I would be laying in it butt naked on the grass like this with the cold breeze all over me. That's all I want right now. That would be absolute heaven. So if anyone's listening up there, just come on. I'm only kidding, but not really. But you know what they say though, the grass is always greener on the other side. So if you can't tell, I've been a little bit emo this week. So instead of starting from a traditional chord progression for this week's video, I actually recorded some vocals. I'm going to play just a snippet of them. If we meet another day, I'll be there for you. Sometimes I find it easier if I start with a melody, and that's exactly what I did this week. I just sung that melody, and then I decided to draft up some MIDI. If we meet another day, I'll be there for you. Tell me, is it alright if I think of you and I play my baby without you near? 'Cause I've been missing things without you. So yeah, once I drafted that up, I thought, yeah, that's perfect. This has a nice, foggy, cold, intimate, emo kind of feeling, which is exactly what I was going for. Yeah, without further ado, let's just get into designing the actual sound. So this week, we're going to do another one of these hybrid patches that I quite like for this aesthetic. We're going to stick with wavetable for oscillator A. We're going to click over here. We're going to go to analog and select this Juno wave shape, and you can leave it on this first default position. Now, Serum 2 has a very underrated feature, which is if you hit this global tab over here, you're exposed to this voice control section. You can do a bunch of really cool things to make the entirety of Serum 2 behave more like an analog synthesizer. So for example, if you select the detune tab over here, you can see we have our oscillators here. By default, they're all selected to be affected, but if you want only oscillator A to be affected, you could deselect them. And then over here, you could start moving these banks up or down. You can also think of them as voice cards as you would in a traditional synthesizer. And that's gonna detune each individual voice card. Let's just do something crazy like this to make it super audible. So you can hear it detunes everything a lot, but it actually makes it more faithful to how analog synthesizers behave. So Serum 2 has presets for this, which if you click this little bank up here, you go to factory. Let's use this subtle analog one. And you can see all of the sound cards are now detuned slightly to give Serum 2 a more analog feel. And this is really cool. Not many people know about this. And you can do this for other parameters as well, like the cutoff, the envelopes, these mod 1 and mod 2 banks that you can actually assign to almost anything. You could do it with the pan as well. For this preset, I'm just going to stick to detune to keep things simple, but I would highly suggest playing around with all of those. Yeah, let's stick with the subtle analog for the voice control, which is just going to detune our oscillators right off the bat so that we don't have to do it later. And now we just don't have to think about it. So already we have a lot more analog character within our synth, and we haven't even touched anything. Let's add 4 voices of unison and detune them slightly. And now we can just grab a simple LFO. Let's take it off BPM, set it to hertz, set the rate to 0.9 hertz. And let's just drag this to the detune, and let's set the max value to about 10 or 11%. So that's going to give us some nice oscillating detune. So let's turn on oscillator B. Let's change it from wavetable to multi-sample. Click over here to the presets, go factory, keys, and let's use baby grand piano number 2. So immediately what we can do is just drag the level of oscillator B down a lot. And now we have a combined piano and synth sound. So now what we can do is we can turn on the noise oscillator. Let's stick with the Juno theme and go to analog J60. Let's lower this level to about 15%. You can drag the noise to this first warp knob. In the bank, go Alt Warp, bend plus or minus to add some movement to the oscillator. Now that's quite noisy, so I'm going to lower it even more. Now there's way too many highs in that noise. So let's go ahead to filter number 2. Turn it on. Let's just select it for the noise over here. So I'm going to set that cutoff to about 3.5K, which is going to cut out a lot of that harsh top end. Now we can turn on filter number 1, and let's just leave it on oscillator A for now. We're going to turn on key tracking as well, raise the resonance to about 15% and the drive a little bit as well. Fantastic. So I've just adjusted my cutoff for the noise to about 1.6K. Over here, we're sitting at about 900 Hertz for the filter that's controlling oscillator A. On second thought, I'm actually going to change the filter 1 from MG Low 12 to MG Low 24. So I've just readjusted my cutoff over here to about 200 Hertz, and I've raised the level now of oscillator A to compensate as well. So I'm noticing that's quiet, so I'm just going to go to my main effects over here and just add a utility, and I'm just going to go over here and boost the gain. So now we can go to our envelope and start adjusting the shape. For the attack, let's set it to about 15 milliseconds. And then over here, we can just drag the sustain down a little bit, somewhere between -7 and 10 decibels. And for the release, let's turn this up to about 250 milliseconds. One last thing I forgot to do is to modulate the filter using the noise as well. So I'm going to grab the noise and I'm going to pull it to the cutoff over here and just drag this all the way down to about 8%. So now we have that beautiful movement within our filter as well, which makes the sound even more analog sounding. Great, so I'm absolutely loving how this is sounding so far, and I think we're ready to start adding some effects. I'm going to start processing post filter number 1, so I'm going to click over here and just send the signal to bus number 1. Now we could do this from the oscillator directly as well, however then we wouldn't be processing it post the filter, we would be doing it pre, so we would have all those high frequencies, which I don't want. I want to start processing without all of those high frequencies that the filter is kindly cutting out for us. So let's go to our effects tab. We can go to bus 1 where we just sent oscillator A to, and we're going to add a chorus. Let's set the mix to 100% wet. I'm also going to add a reverb. I'm going to do a classic hall reverb, cut out some of the lows. I'm going to increase the decay to about 8 seconds, and let's set the mix to 100% as well. That's sounding beautiful. I really wanted oscillator A, the synth part of this sound, to be chorused and washed out. So think of the keys as being the primary character of the sound and the pad being a lingering secondary texture that sort of blends and glues the sound together. Now we're ready to process oscillator B. And we can send it to bus 2 right over here since we're not using any filter processing. Now we can go to our effects tab, go to bus 2 over here, and we're going to add a convolve for a slightly different room emulation or reverb. So let's go to factory, medium. Let's use this vocal hall one that I quite like, and let's raise the mix. Convolve is especially great because it really makes your sounds feel like they're not being played from a synthesizer, but instead like they live in a room or a chamber or whatever one of these presets that you select. For texture, this is my go-to. So now we can go to our main effects. We're going to keep it really simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bode to kind of smear the sound. I'm going to turn this blur function all the way up. And now I'm going to add a compressor as well. Just use this threshold value over here to dial in exactly how much compression you want. I just wanted to catch those highest peaks, but you're going to have to tweak this depending on the style of your preset and whatever you're playing under your fingers. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving how this is sounding. I don't think there's any reason to make it any more complicated. Not all the sounds that we make have to be super complex. Sometimes they serve their specific function, and just using a couple of these things can give you a lot of character. So I'm going to leave it like this, and let's just dive into a bit of the production. For the vocals over here, I have a low one and I have a falsetto one. If we meet in another life, I'll be there for you. I've just got a little altar boy over here. I turned the formant down 2.5 just to make my voice a little bit deeper. And then we have the falsetto one. We've got -2 on the formant for this one. And then for the group processing, I've got a tape mellow-fi. I'm using this filter. Otherwise, everything else is turned off. And then a huge part of the sound is also being provided by Ocean Ways Studios. I've got it set to Studio B, vocal, and it's on reverb mode over here using the C12 microphone preset. And so that makes a huge difference. This is the sound without it. If we meet in another life. And with it. If we meet in another life. It really makes my vocals sound like it was recorded in an actual room, which adds a lot of character to the sound as well. Finally, we just have a high pass over here, just set to about 100 hertz to cut out all that unnecessary low end coming from that room emulation plugin. Without further ado, let's just play the whole little sample. So that'll do for this week's sample. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if I didn't explain something as well as I could have. Just drop me a comment down below if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. As always, I have a bunch of useful links down in the description of this video. They're on my Gumroad page for absolutely free. I'm talking Serum 2 presets, Afro House kicks, a Prophet 5V guide if the Prophet synthesizer ever confused you, and more Serum 2 presets available to download for absolutely free. Definitely check out those resources. They're linked down below. Thank you again for your support, guys. I can't tell you how much it means that you stuck through it with me in this sweaty ass apartment. If I don't end the video right now, I just might pass out from how hot it is in here. So thank you again and have a good night. Bye bye.